So to describe the process of the journey of a red blood cell, um, this diagram is going to be there to help. And basically, the sole purpose of red blood cells is to deliver and like carry oxygen from the lungs to the tissues in your body and just throughout the body. Um, it also uh, carries carbon dioxide, which is to be um, exhaled in the carries carbon dioxide to the lungs, which is to be exhaled. And hemoglobin is a protein which is found in red blood cells, which actually gives red blood cells their red color. And so the process technically starts in the liver because the hemoglobin, the iron from the hemoglobin, is found in the liver because it's stored there. And this is used by bone marrow to create new blood cells. So going from there, red blood cells are created in the inside of the bone marrow. So they go through several stages, and they first start as a hemocytoblast, and they become an erythroblast um, after about like 2 to 5 days of their development. So after the red blood cell is filled with hemoglobin, it becomes mature. So it becomes a mature full red blood cell. So after that, here is when the blood can differentiate into the different types of blood types, and that depends on the different antibodies that are present in a person's body. So then, after the red blood cells are created, is when their journey technically starts, and it's when they travel to the heart. So they travel to the heart through capillaries. But one thing that's important to note is that um, when they're traveling right now, they are deoxygenated because the oxygenation process happens a little later. So when they are traveling to the heart through the capillaries, they are deoxygenated. And now this deoxygenated red blood cells go into the vena cava, and which is within the heart, and it's pushed into the right atrium. So then the right atrium contracts, which pushes the blood cells through the tricuspid and into the right ventricle. So the right ventricle then contracts and then pushes the red it pushes the red blood cells out of the heart and into the semilunar valve. So the red blood cells then they then leave the heart, because this is when they get oxygenated. So they leave the heart and they travel to the pulmonary artery, to the lungs. And in doing so, they become oxygenated blood cells because um, that's where oxygenation happens. And the red blood cell then makes its way to the heart through the pulmonary vein, and it moves into the left atrium. So then the red blood cells re-enter the heart. So the left atrium contracts and pushes the red blood cells through the bicuspid, and the red blood cells then enter the left ventricle. The left ventricle then contracts similarly to how we described before and pushes the red blood cell out, through the semilunar valve and out of the heart into the aorta. So this is the final step because now the red blood cell is oxygenated and it's able to travel around. It's able to travel around the full body. So now that's in the aorta, traveling through the aorta, the red blood cell is able to go through, like, it's able to go to the kidneys, other lower limbs, and basically when it's being pumped through the aorta, it just delivers the oxygenated blood throughout the body to keep it functioning. And the red blood cells are they typically last for about 120 days um, before they die. And then the liver is again uh, helpful here because the liver recycles these damaged red blood cells, the iron from them specifically. So then the whole process restarts with the iron being used again, and this process continues. So while it seems like a lengthy process, it happens pretty quickly in the body.